Welcome to a special edition of Local Focus. We're inside the 5A Boys Championship game today, and with me to do that are Nate Hasbury and Trey Watson. Welcome, guys. I'm glad you made some time for this.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's start with pregame. Nate, what's Coach Jimenez talking about pregame? Take me inside that pregame talk.
Pregame, basically, our motto, guard to win. That's been our thing all year. So going into the game, we knew we were going to have to lock up on their two players, or top players, Deuce and Carr. So he was just going through us with that, and we were just going through our offenses, our defenses, and stuff like that. And he was just getting us mentally prepared for the game.
Trey, anything special for you, knowing like you're playing a real big tonight? Mm-hmm. Did he anything special with your instruction? Not really.
It was just one of those things where we got to rebound. We don't want to make the game bigger than it was, so we just made sure that we box him out, get one or two bodies on him, and try our best to limit his second shots.
Right. Did you guys like pregame, or even let's say now, like how crazy of a year this has been? Like not only COVID, but then right at the beginning of COVID, we lost JB, and I know that hit you guys really hard. I was there. I witnessed that. I mean, just the emotional roller coaster that you guys have been on this year. I mean, have you thought about that yet, Nate?
No, we haven't.
Oh, yeah.
It was tough, but we kind of put it out there that we do everything for him now. That's
right.
what keeps us going now, so, yeah.
All right, let's get into the game here. Josh, if you want to go into that first clip. So we're going to go through some parts of the game and kind of, talk about the ebbs and flow and the momentum of this game. So I think that we're going to start out with Las Cruces here. Let's take a look at this. Right off the bat, Deuce sticks that first three. And I think after that, let's let this play out here.
To the putback, he's fouled. Hasbury's free throw's good. It's going to be interesting to see who guards Benjamin. Davidson started on him. I thought they maybe have Hasbury guard him, and then eventually he'll probably seek a double team. He's so good. You're going to have to pick your spots when you want to double.
Well, there's the match you stood, Hasbury and
Benjamin on the blow-by, got stuck in the air, and the rebound for Gonzalez. He's going to outlet it ahead to Davidson. Davidson leaves it for Hasbury, and he had it blocked by Carr.
I'll tell you what, Carr makes a difference. He's so long with his arms.
6'11", a foul in the back court. Isaiah Carr fouled out in the third quarter against
That was a tackle. That was a football play Jeff made right there. We're gonna talk while this is going here. But so Deuce sticks that first shot right off the bat. What are you thinking there, Nate?
We knew he was gonna hit tough shots. We knew we were gonna just get a hand up. We know he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna try to ISO us, shoot his shots or whatever, but. We knew as long as we get a hand up and he misses some shots, then we're good.
So here, Trey, Nate said it. I was expecting a lot more ISO too, but then Cruces kind of went into their old comfort zone, right? And they started running a lot of their flex. Did you guys expect that flex, or did you expect more of the ISO ball?
We did expect the flex. We ran through it the day before the game, and we just kind of said we have to guard it. We were practicing going over the screens and who we can leave and help off of, so we definitely expected it.
Deuce hits those first two shots right away. Defensively, I mean, what was kind of the strategy just on him individually, Nate?
Try to not get how do you say it?
Tackle him down like Jeff did, or like
no. Try to keep the ball away from him, but we knew he was gonna dribble the ball up the court, but. We try to apply pressure to him and make him, we try to play physical on him a little bit. But even if we did switch, whoever got on him, we're going to still get after him and stuff like that. But on the defensive end, we just try to take it out of his hands on the offensive end,
right.
Basically.
Well, this next clip here, we'll go through this, and the ball is out of it. They start running some high-low, but then it starts not working. So let's take a look here. Did you guys have that high-low? Did you have that on the scouting report? Trey? I mean, were you expecting a lot of high lows?
We weren't expecting it, but throughout the year, we've learned how to defend it. That came from practice or us running the zone multiple times throughout the year. So we were kind of prepared for it.
And I mean, there was parts of this game, and we'll see it in some of these clips. Man, it was fun to watch you and Carr inside because you guys were going at it pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty physical. There was a little show away from the ball with you two in there. Talk about that.
That's my guy. Played with him this summer. We came into the game knowing that it was going to be a dogfight. As soon as we came in, we were already talking trash. But he's a great basketball player.
At this point of the game, you guys start subbing a lot. I would imagine you guys anticipated that you would be the fresher team. Coach Benjamin doesn't substitute a lot. You guys are a little deeper. I mean, did that kind of go into the game plan of being fresher and you guys are the deeper team?
I mean, not really, but I mean, kind of a little bit. The new guys who came in, like Churate off the bench and stuff like that, we tried to give Deuce a new look. So saying I was guarding Deuce a lot, Trey would come in, he would take my spot to guard him. So, but they just fit right in with our rotation.
Right, let's go to the next clip here. I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to talk about some half-court defense here. So the beginning of the game, kind of everyone had a turn, but then as it settled in, it kind of became you guarding him. And talk about this. I mean, a lot of guys, first of all, would have been on skates after that, but let's watch this here. I mean, that's elite offensive moves right there, but you're staying down on that. And let's take a look at this. We'll let this play through.
Start off quick, and since then they've done a great job of containing him.
Self working at the top, trying to get it to Carr. It's a turnover. Watson in transition. Watson takes flight.
You guys can, you can be color. You can be the announcers for a second, man. When you got a jam, but that's kind of the part of the game where your defense really started turning them over, right? They had 6 turnovers in the first quarter. Your defense led the offense. Talk about the momentum at that point, Trey, and then talk about that jam a little bit.
We always talk about getting our hand in the passing lane, and we set a goal out where we try and get like 3 dunks a game. We don't always get it, but we try our best. We figure if we lock up or try and get steals, then we can accomplish that. So that's really all we did right there. That's something we've been doing all year.
Like I mentioned, first couple of possessions, different guys are guarding Deuce, but then at that point in the game, it kind of settles into a one-on-one with you at that point. You obviously knew you were going to have that assignment most of the night, right?
Definitely.
So talk about that.
At the start of the game or pre-game, basically, Coach said, you're going to be on Deuce. I knew what I had to do. I know how to take the responsibility to lock up on defense on him because all I know, if we did that, we're going to be straight for the rest of the game and the outlook would be good, and that's what happened. So I just had to take responsibility for me to lock up on him.
Now, the defense does change a little bit, and let's look at one more clip here, and I think this is early in the second quarter. This is kind of when we see the end of the one-on-one, and we start seeing the double team. So let's watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
His body is so under control.
Avila on the reverse.
Like, he was low-key the player of the game, right? Like, I mean, I know I talked to you guys after the game, but I mean, he was huge, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tone always hooping. He always hooped
for us.
Definitely.
So this was kind of the end of the one-on-one guarding. I mean, he misses a layup here.
Just ripped off the rim there by Avila.
I tell you what, he got up to high on that. Look at this.
Oh, what a bounce. And it's a goaltend.
That was a goaltend. But then on the next possession, I think, Nate, you're on him on the next possession, but that was pretty much it. That was the end of one-on-one. You started going to the double after it. So let's play that through, and then we'll talk about the double team.
Definitely off the glass. Easy goaltend.
Did you notice how high he was off the ground? And his arms, his wingspan's huge.
Self lost it on the gather. Watson gets it over to Ortega. Comes Evan Gonzalez up the floor. Hasbury wants it, but then Benjamin fronted him. From the foul line, there's Watson. No, Hasbury had a strong rebound for a second, but then it's out of bounds. Hasbury got way up there as well. There's some athleticism on display here.
I'll tell you what, this is great basketball. Great, 2 great coaches coaching against each other.
Now, I believe
Chess match
what's
going
coming
back
up here
and
will
forth.
be the first double
Great
team
personnel.
of the game. So this is about midway through the second. And I think this is when Coach Jimenez called for it. Yeah, there you go.
Double.
And it leads to a timeout. So let me start there.
Benjamin.
Surprised?
Take it with
I
him.
mean, he dribbled into 2
46
timeouts in that game when you guys jumped in with double teams. Did that surprise you?
I mean, a little bit. It was just when we threw the double team at him, we just tried to get the ball out of his hands because we knew the rest of them really do anything. So coach just told us to just go double team him, and that's what we just did basically the rest of the game. So and it pretty much worked.
Was there a predetermined time in the game, Trey, that you guys would start doubling, or did the game just kind of dictate that, and that's when it started?
The game just kind of dictated it. We got to slow him down. He's a good basketball player. He's going to get his. But, I mean, if you can cut him down from 30 points to 20, that makes a big difference for us.
All right, we're going to take our first time out. When we come back, we'll start talking about the big guy on the other side. Isaiah Carr starts getting a little comfortable. We'll pick it up from there.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Welcome back to a special edition of Local Focus. We're inside the 5A Boys Championship with Nate Hasbury and Trey Watson. We're going to pick it up about a minute from where we left off. Still in the second quarter. What could be potentially a big momentum shift for Las Cruces is when Isaiah Carr puts back his own miss. But you guys answered this right away, didn't you?
Yeah,
That was smart
we knew.
basketball right there.
I mean, you're 6'10", 6'11" in the state of New Mexico. I'm 6'6". I do what I can, but he's gonna get some every now and then. So we just knew we had to just kind of limit it as best as we could.
No
But then
intimidation
how big
there.
is Tone coming in there and just driving it right at his
What a
chest?
game.
Huge.
This is just a great game to watch.
Definitely huge. I mean, Tone's afraid of
Pleasure to be
nobody.
here.
He's always looking to get after and go at whoever's in front of him. He's a great basketball player.
Now Self.
Now this play will end, I believe, with
Wow.
the next play will end with Deuce kind of getting through a double team, right? So the double team bothered him, but he is going to get through one here, and I believe that's when he lobs it for Carr. But let's pick up here. I mean, this is, there's no secret. You guys would rather be playing faster right there, right?
Definitely.
But that's what their defense did a lot of that to you guys this game, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Hasbury puts up the 3 ball. Yes.
And there's Nate out of the corner, man. I mean, how important is that to kind of get that going, Nate?
No, that was honor. That was just a great pass from my teammates. He just kept swinging the ball. I was just ready to shoot it, but it was a big shot right there. It gave us a little bit of momentum.
So there's a blow by right past the double team. That's got to be discouraging. You guys start doubling on every possession, but Deuce blows by the double. Talk about that, Nate.
Yeah, we do. We knew Deuce was gonna get into the paint, make his little plays or whatever, and try to lob it a car. But we just tried to disrupt it as much as we could. I tried my best to try to block the lob, but he's too big. But I mean, he's gonna get fouled and he's gonna make some shots down there in the paint. But we just tried our best to disrupt that.
And the thing about our team is we know that we press so much. We're gonna give up buckets. It's just gonna happen. So we just have to answer and just hope we force more turnovers than we let up buckets.
And I mean, it's not like they were living at the line. So something like that, where you're fouling on a shot like that, that's not necessarily the worst foul, right?
Definitely not. Slows momentum down too, because a oop dunk definitely is changing momentum.
Well, he must have heard you talking.
Now, I mean, what did you think of this? Speaking of momentum, what did you think of the momentum shifts and changes in this game?
They were all over the place, everywhere.
And you see another block here. Like, I think unofficially he had 10. But then Antonio takes it right away. Now, this is going to lead to another Antonio basket. If you had to guess right here, boys, at how many points he has out of those 23, or soon to be 25, how many points do you think Tone has at this point in the game?
8.
Yeah, 8 to 6, 6 or 8.
Close. That's already 10 points right there off the bench. I mean, talk about that. That's huge.
Yeah, Tone's always ready to hoop with us. He's always produced. He always plays his role on defense and the offensive end. See, look, right there he's getting the steal.
What's going to happen here, Nate? Did you remember what happened here?
I remember this one. As soon as Evan passed me, I was like, oh, yeah. It's time right
All right,
here.
so you got 2 out of your 3 jams already, right? In the first half. Now, this leads to another bucket for you, Nate. Now, this is a part of the game where Las Cruces started turning over the ball a lot. Talk about your defensive pressure really turning them over here.
We knew. Well, once we started throwing the double team, I feel like that threw him off a little bit. So I feel like on defensive end, we were just all over the place, and it caused them to turn over the ball a little bit. So it just contributed to our offense.
And this is going to, I think, end up with another one of your buckets, I believe, here after the offensive rebound. First, let's talk about that offensive board. I mean, usually you have a pretty easy time because you're not going against that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was changed this game, right? Rebounding against that size. Talk about that.
So playing AAU, hasn't really been anything different. Like on the circuit, I see 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot like every weekend. So really, it's just you just got to keep going, do what you do, and don't let anybody change that.
The turnover margin at this point, as we're coming up on halftime, is they have 11 turnovers. You guys have 3. Is that something Coach Jimenez talked about before the game, was valuing the basketball? I mean, because there's some games where you guys throw it around a little bit too much too. Yeah. So talk about that.
It's always a given. Like every game is less turnovers. Because we do turn the ball. We did turn the ball a lot.
I like that. I like that. We went from we did to
we did, but definitely we tried to limit that. So yeah.
Your thoughts overall in the first half of just at this point, how do you feel like the game's going?
I feel like the game's going pretty good. It's a close and back and forth ball game. But I feel like we played good on offense and defense.
You guys are shooting exactly 50% this time. They're at 45%, right? But they are killing you guys on the glass. 16-8. They have 7 offensive boards in that first half. Did Coach Jimenez talk about that at halftime?
We did. We talked about how we have to limit them. We got to do what we got to do. If that means leaving another guy to get the rebound, like we have to get 1 or 2 bodies on Carr.
Now, one thing that I did talk to Sean about after the game a little bit, and he's always mentioned it all year, but this is a very player-led team, right? So you guys do a lot of the talking in the locker room, I hear, and so what did the players kind of talk about in the locker room before Coach Jimenez even, puts in his kind of 2 cents? What did you guys talk about?
We just try to talk about like what we need to do better in the game. Clearly rebounding. We need to box out. Not everybody rebounds at times, so we try to say all 5 rebound. But we just try to just keep the energy up and just try to come up with a game plan for the second half for us to do better and just get after it.
Now, what are you saying in the locker room? Because like, people got you all wrong. Like, they see the smile and everything.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this Trey guy, he's such a nice. But, like, I've sat courtside during some of your games. Your ish-talking game is strong, my man. It's strong, and I like it. So, I mean, what are some of the things you're talking about in the locker room?
I have respect for every player, but, I let it out sometimes. Like, I'll be like, they're not good. They're weak. I don't know why the score is even like this. But one of the things I hung my hat on this year was having fun. Knowing that the whole COVID thing, it all started with the football season too. Every game, every practice, go have fun, because it could be taken from you at any time. So I was just reiterating, let's go out here. It's a dog fight. This is what we want to play in, and let's go do our thing.
And you guys did look like you had a lot of fun on the floor, but again, still pretty serious. And did you guys grow into that kind of leadership thing? Was it always been like that? Because I don't remember Coach ever bringing it up before, but he always seemed to tell me whether we were post game or whether we were golfing. So I was like, no, you know what? These guys, they run the team. It's a player-run team. Has it always been like that, or is that something that started this year?
I would say it's a little something that just started this year, because the bond that like us seniors had, we've been playing together since like 6th, 7th grade. So I think it was kind of unbreakable. So we were going to do whatever it took to win.
Now, Nate, you seem like a pretty quiet dude, but so what's your best? What's your best rip into the team, give a good speech moment? I'm sure you've had them, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not really quiet. I mean, on the court, if you get to know me, I'm really talkative and funny guy. So, but I always, just like Trey said, we're always, talking trash a little bit, but still at the end of the day, we still have respect for them. But we still try to motivate everybody else to give it their all and give it their best. Definitely knowing this year, our seniors our senior little group, we knew this year like we had to get it done this year, so we were gonna do whatever it took. Basically, we're just gonna do whatever it took. Basically, so we just try to get everybody on the same page and get everybody on the same mindset as everybody else was.
So this year the NMA put some weird patches in your uniforms, right, for that shot tracker thing. So I'm geeking out on that at halftime. And the stat that I found at halftime that I even wrote it down here, 70% of your possessions in the first half had a paint touch. Is that something that's normally a plan, or is that just something that happens when you got 2 studs like you that can get out and run?
Definitely a plan.
Yeah,
we sit in practice and we throw entry passes. I think for the last 2 weeks we threw probably like 500 entry passes throughout the week. That was the main emphasis, was get a paint touch, because what happened was the defense would collapse and other guys would be open. So that's really what was behind that.
Yeah, the coaches preach getting it inside, and if they help, kick it out for the wide open 3. So we worked on that basically a whole year.
All right, we'll take another timeout here, and we'll pick up the second half of the 5A championship after this.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
High school sports are back. You can watch every Proview Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProviewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
All right, we're going to pick it up in the second half, and it starts with more Isaiah Carr blocks. I mean, he had 10 of them, so naturally we're going to see a lot of them, and I think there's another one coming here. You talk about these blocks during the game. I mean, yeah, he got some of them on you, but a lot of them were on guards, right? Like little mice in the house here. So just talk about that. I mean, did that make it difficult for your guards to penetrate, get in the paint with Isaiah in there?
I wouldn't say not really, because our guards, they played fearless the whole game. They just kept going, and we kept saying, go into his chest, go into his chest. Yeah. Like, give or take, one of them's going to go in, one of them's going to be a foul. So just keep going.
Steve, you and I remember when those arms were still twigs. Remember when he was playing?
No, I didn't know you had the Timmy Duncan in you. Like, that's off the window, man. That's a beautiful thing. I didn't know you had that in your repertoire.
A little bit, you know. I think my confidence in the first half was down. I missed 2 of them, so I didn't want to really shoot anymore. But I was telling myself, like, he's playing off me. You got to shoot it regardless. So yeah, that's where that came from.
So when you're playing a defender like that, you got to kind of have, you got to
have a little arsenal,
right?
Yeah.
You can't just be a one-trick pony like that. All right, let's go back to the next clip here. This is later in the third quarter. It was pretty close, actually. And I think Deuce starts to find his rhythm a little bit. So let's talk us through this. Obviously, you guys mentioned it. You're not going to keep a good player down, right? So he kind of gets into his rhythm here. Talk about that a little bit, Nate.
Yeah, Deuce is going to get his buckets. We knew he was going to have a little spark. So we just tried to slow it down a little bit and make it as hard as possible. But we knew he was going to get his little buckets. He's a great player, but we just tried to, at the end of the day, make him miss some shots. And that was our game plan, just make him miss some shots, because we knew he was going to make some.
Now, we're going to see some buckets that come from still rebounds. So at this point, that's something you guys haven't cleaned up yet. I mean, they're still killing you guys on the glass.
Yeah.
And then talk about that, Trey. Because this layup, I believe this is going to be a Deuce layup, and it comes from an offensive rebound that Carr had there.
So I think what happens is we're so focused on one guy and the ball, and then they were shooting the rebound. When you have a tall guy and you're boxing out, the longer rebounds are easier for him and the other players to get. So I think that's what started happening.
This is going to play out here to the 3-minute mark. So you guys had a nice lead going into halftime. I mean, a small lead, but a couple blocks here another block's going to lead to a 3-point play. There you see it again. And, Cruz just goes on a little bit of a run here. It's an 8-0 run. So just talk about that run, Nate. What's going through your mind at this point?
Yeah, we knew they were going to go on a run after they started, they got their offense going a little bit. They started flowing. Deuce was, he was getting, he was going through the offense or whatever. He was dribbling, attacking, penetrating, kicking it and whatever, and lobbing it up. But we knew they were going to go on a little run, but we just had to stay together as a team and stay focused, basically.
It gets to an 8-0 run. Coach Jimenez finally calls a timeout at an 8-0 run. What does he say during that timeout, Trey?
He tells us basically grow a pair. He's like, how bad do you want it? You gotta, if you want to win, like, suck it up and get it done. And for me, mine is my line that I always tell everyone is it's a game of runs. Basketball's a game of runs. You're not blowing anybody out in the state championship game, so they're going to get theirs. We just got to learn how to weather the storm and, persevere and thrive, keep going.
Your defense kind of gets you onto your next run, so let's pick it up there. And you guys pick Deuce's pocket there. That leads to Nate's nice layup there.
Big bucket for Hasbury.
Look at this. Look at Self.
Inside, Hasbury, return to sender.
So you had some blocks too, right? I mean, not 10 of them, but you held your own, right?
Yeah, I have my little some blocks, but.
So here's the second time you guys spring the double, and Deuce is forced to call a timeout. It seems like in most of your games, but in particular in this one, your forced turnovers seem to come in bunches all year. Talk about that.
I think it's just spurts of energy. It's not a good thing, but I think we kind of pick and chose when we wanted to play hard. So I think that definitely showed.
Okay. We're going to take us to the end of the third quarter here. And, you mentioned it earlier in the show. You guys keep going at Isaiah. And finally, I think it starts to pay off a little bit at the end of the third quarter. Let's take a look.
And then that was just telegraphed. Watson saw that all the way.
I could see that coming from up here.
Avila, see if the Storm can make him pay for that turnover. 30 seconds to play here in this third quarter. On the gather, Gonzalez. And that's a goaltend.
So we have a goaltend there.
Credit delay up there on the goaltend, and we'll take another look-see. Yep, off the window.
And then I believe you caused another turnover here,
Working in transition. Benjamin over two.
or a missed shot. And Trey likes the ball at the end of the quarter, doesn't he? I noticed that.
Yeah, we try to get to our seniors, but yeah, we definitely try to get Trey, let him tack, let him do his thing.
Now Cleveland making a little run.
So, you know, that's the work we talked about and you talked about earlier. Did you feel like you guys were starting to get into, you know, Isaiah's not going to keep sending everything back, and it was starting to pay off a little bit going at him because we saw at the end of the quarter there that you guys finished.
We just wanted to keep attacking them. We knew they were getting a little tired because they only played, six, 7 guys. So we just wanted to keep bringing it to them, and we knew they would get fatigued, and that would just be our time to just keep the pedal on the metal and just put our foots on their necks and just keep going.
Talk about also, those things take patience, right? I mean, you guys attacking them, you know, the fruits of that labor doesn't really bear out till the end of a game. So talk about the importance of staying patient and sticking to a game plan.
You got to stick through it. So, you know, I look at myself as kind of one of the main scorers on the team, and when I can't get going in the first half, I just kind of tell myself, you know, defense leads to offense. So if we keep balling on D, that's where your points come from. That's how you get going, get in a rhythm. So that's one of the mindsets I think a lot of us have, is just keep locking up, and, you know, we'll get buckets because, I mean, who doesn't like to score?
I mean, just your thoughts on that. Like, you know, how hard? Let me ask it this way: how hard is that for younger guys? Or if you remember back when you were young on this team, how hard is it to stay patient and stick to a game plan like that?
I mean, it's always hard, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the team. You got to play your role, and I feel like this year we had guys that knew what they were going to do on offense and defense. Maybe it was just playing defense or getting rebounds or maybe making a little, like, bucket down low or something like that, or shooting threes. But I feel like everybody played the role nicely this year, and that's why we won the state championship.
Early in the fourth, I feel like this is a perfect example. Like, every time that maybe you start to think, Trey's not that big or he's not that nasty, he does something like this.
Carr has the height. Watson has the muscle and size. Watson takes flight. He's
Like,
fouled, and it'll go.
That's grown man stuff right there, right?
I was lit right there.
So where did that move? I mean, you start at the 3-point line and you say, oh, okay, I got a little in here. I'm going to take it all the way to the rack, or take us through that.
I saw it. I was going to try and dunk it. I'm not going to lie. I was going to try and dunk it, but then Carr came over, so I just kind of had to switch it. And then I just kind of pushed him off a little bit.
Had to jelly it a little.
Yeah, I had to jelly. Throw some little jelly in.
But that's a strong finish right there. We fast forward a little bit to the middle of the quarter. Scary moment here for you when you go down. Let's take a look.
They just threw it over the top. And
There comes Watson, and he slipped under the basket, and he's down in pain.
I'm not going to lie. I was definitely going to dunk that.
That was a dunk?
I was definitely
dunking
that.
That was a
I was waiting for it, too.
That would have been dunk number 3, right?
Yeah. Dunk number 3.
All right. Well, first of all, as a teammate, what's going through your mind when the big fella goes down?
I was like, dang, no. I was like, no. But I was hoping, or I already knew that Trey was going to try to come back in the game. I already knew it because I know what type of player he is. But I try to get the guys together and tell them, like, we're okay, we're good. You know, don't take this, like, too harshly. Like, we have the lead right now. We can't blow it, but we just have to stay calm and stay patient.
And the game's still very much up for grabs at that point. 4:25 to go in the quarter. What's going through your mind when you're laying on the floor there? I mean, you know your body, obviously, so you know it wasn't that serious, but take us through that.
I think it was more of a shock. I shocked myself because I rolled my ankle, and it was just like so much just went through my body at the time. You know, I was thinking of college. I was thinking of, you know, the rest of the game. I was just thinking of a lot of stuff was going through my head. But then once I kind of settled down, I walked it out a little bit, stretched it out. I realized I couldn't let my team down. Like I had to do what I had to do to get back in.
Right, and you didn't go up all the way up the ramp. I was watching. You just kind of went up a few steps and then right back down.
I was good. They were telling me, like, go up there so we could check you out, and I was just kind of like, nah, like I'm good, like I'll be fine. So I walked up the ramp with like a couple steps, tried to run a little, and I was like, I'm good, I can go. And then, my adrenaline was going, so I think once I got going again, I felt fine.
Meanwhile, Cole Savage comes into the game, and he makes an immediate impact. Let's take a look.
Davidson working inside, kicks it out. Savage open for another 3-ball. Ring it up. Cole Savage.
That was a big 3 right there.
Comes in off the bench in place of Watson.
That pushed the lead to 7 at that point. Coach Jimenez talked in the post-game presser. Murph's having a good time out there.
I know.
He caused a ruckus in that game. We won't even talk about that.
That's our biggest hype man. He'll do anything for us. That's one of our boys. Yeah. He loves us to death. We love him to death. But yeah, he's a road dog for us.
Any doubt that Cole would hit that open 3? I mean, Coach Jimenez talked in the post game about how good of a shooter he is, and you guys see it all the time. Any doubt, Nate?
No, I knew because I saw he had his rhythm. I knew he was gonna hit that because we always in practice. We always play our little shooting games. He's always at the top 3, top 5. So I just knew Cole was ready to make that shot.
Well, we're gonna take another timeout here. When we get back, we'll take it about to the last 2 minutes. We haven't talked about Deuce Benjamin a lot. We'll tell you how long he was scoreless when we come back.
Dream style roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Hi, my name is Brandon Mason, and I'm the president of Albuquerque Basketball Club, and we're supporters of high school basketball here in New Mexico. Our goal for Albuquerque Basketball Club is that we want to grow the grassroots for basketball here in New Mexico and develop more college athletes here. We're starting with kindergarten through 12th grade, boys and girls, and we would love for you to contact us at 505-288-6376, and also you can email us at coachbrandonmason@gmail.com. Thank you.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
We're back inside the 5A Boys Championship with Nate and Trey. We're going to take it to the 2:22 mark in the 4th quarter. You guys commit a foul on Deuce Benjamin. He goes back to the foul line here. But believe it or not, when he gets to the foul line here, these are his first points since the middle of the third quarter. I mean, you guys went a huge chunk, middle of the third to the final 2 minutes of the game, and you held Deuce scoreless. In the end, that had to be the difference in the game, was the defense in that stretch, right? Talk about that, Nate.
Yeah, definitely. We started throwing that once we started throwing that double team at him. We tried to get the ball. He got the ball out of his hands. Pretty much like past like at half court or maybe at the 3-point line. He got rid of it because we're throwing the double team. But I feel like that pretty much like threw him out of his game a little bit and made other guys score or try to score at least. But I feel like that was a really good time for us right here.
Did you guys realize? Do you realize on the floor how good defensively you guys have been doing on him? Like, does that even come to mind? Like, man, Deuce hasn't got one in a while. Did you think like that at all, Trey?
No, not really. You know, you just play, keep going. You don't really think of it.
A lot of times free throws can get momentum going, but you answered again right away. You got back to the line. You answered with a strong take. Talk about that.
One of the big things that we always stress on was seniors don't fold in big moments. So once I got the ball in my hand, I was like, I'd rather, like, because Nate and all of them were in the backcourt, so I was like, I'd rather me take the shot. So, like, if something goes wrong, it's on me, then somebody else take it.
You guys have a little bit of a lead here, but Isaiah Carr cuts it to one possession. Let's look at that.
All Cleveland has to do is keep their composure, and they're going to be going to the free throw line and hit their free throw line.
Avila blocked by
I mean, it's pretty remarkable. He's there, and he blocks so many shots without fouling.
Can't fault him for taking the layup. Carr on the layup inside.
And then he gets his own. He gets it back. You know, I mean, first of all, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, a lot of guys, when they block shots, Isaiah blocks a lot of them in play, and that leads them to offense. A lot of guys swat stuff into the seats, or you get called for a lot of fouls that aren't fouls. But Isaiah seems to be able to do that without fouling.
A lot of that, I think he's so long, he blocks it when the ball's out of your hands, rather than a lot of guys block it while it's still in your hands. So when you get that little body bump, you get that call. So he doesn't even have to, like, you don't even have to touch bodies with him. If you shoot it, he's long enough to where when he jumps, he's blocking it like 8 feet out the sky. So, yeah.
It's a possession game now. Mm-hmm. It's late in the game. What's going through your mind at this point, Nate?
Take care of the ball. We can't force any little mistakes or anything like that. If we just take care of the ball, we'll come away with the game. But we just all had to stay together, play together as a team, and just grind it out.
What about? Let's take you out of the players' mindset and into like what fans are thinking about and what us media dopes are thinking about is, oh no, is it happening again? Right? No. There's been past failures. Does that creep into your mind at any point?
Never. When you're in these type of games, you rock with who's in your circle, who's in your tight group. You don't really listen to crowds. You just kind of lock in on all the work that you've put in, so that when the time comes, like the last 2 minutes of the game, you're prepared for it.
Now we move ahead. Deuce has as good of a look as you'll ever have at a game-tying three. Let's take a look.
Asbury threw it away.
He read that well. Was he almost too open there? First of all, I mean, you got to think that's going in. On the floor?
I was running back on D. I was like, oh no, please. And then I seen it was kind of short a little bit. And I was like, oh yes, we're good.
I just played it slow because I always think I'd rather give up the tougher shot than me like running out there and then he just blows by me. Now they're down 1. So I always give up the tougher shot. So more power to him if he hits that.
Were you thinking it was going in? I mean, the caliber player that you're facing?
Honestly, I don't even know what was going through my head at that moment. But, it definitely could have gone either way. He could have hit that, big-time shot. Big-time players make big-time shots, so it could have gone in.
Right. Speaking of big-time players, guy we haven't talked about a lot, he's got to make some clutch free throws here at the end. And let's take a look at those. Evan, in this game, he was guarded pretty well. But you talk about, here's a guy that makes an impact, whether it's on the stat sheet or not, right? And, I mean, who else would you guys rather have at the foul line right there than Evan?
That's exactly who I'd want at the foul line.
and of course he makes those. But I mean, that's a tough. A lot of guys would get frustrated having a night like that, where they're not really as involved offensively because the defense on Evan was pretty good that game. But he does so much just to get you guys into your offense, the spacing, the leadership, and then he's just ice at the end here, man. Go through that. Talk about that, Nate.
No, Evan. I mean, that's my guy. We always brothers, but he's always ready for the moment. I mean, even if he's having a little off game or whatever chance he gets, he's gonna take it. And just like right there on the free throws, I knew he was gonna knock those down because I knew what type of player he is. He's always ready for the moment. And, he always does all the little things and gets us all together as a point guard.
Now, David Cruz hits a 3 here. Let's take a look at that.
They get it to Deuce.
Here's a guy that
Needs a shot here.
that was his first shot in the game. I mean, I think I had to look down on my sheet and be like, all right, who's number 1? Right? Like at that point, I mean, and then there's a timeout, of course. At that point, are you thinking, man, this is not going to come easy when this kid who hasn't hit a bucket all night just sticks a 3 right in the corner? What's going through your mind there?
Play till the clock says 0-0. We knew they were going to come down. We knew we had to make free throws. That was the way we were going to always make free throws. We knew they were going to foul us because if they were going to stay in their little man or whatever, I truly think we would just blown by anybody. So, yeah, we had to make free throws.
Anything to add to that? I mean, what's going through your mind there when he hits that 3?
There was really no doubt. We knew they were gonna hit some shots and some clutch shots at the end of the game, but we just knew if we made our free throws and kept contesting their shots at the end of the game, that we would come away with it.
Right. So let's go to the last little bit here, and I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you guys react to the end of this game where the championship is kind of in hand, right? And we'll start at the 13.6 second mark here.
Gonzalez is fouled in the backcourt.
This is going to come down to just like the girls' game, the last second shot.
But first, Evan Gonzalez steps up to the line. It's the 8th.
Now you got your guy at the line again, so that's got to put you guys at ease, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Big free throws.
At this point, you guys have played together a long time. Do you guys say anything at all to Evan before he steps to the line, or?
Nope. Let him do his thing.
Do what he do.
Do what you do.
13.6 remaining.
This is when our emotions started
we started to realize.
I know.
Deuce and see if he can make it.
Now they gotta get it up.
I'm going to take us through this last stretch here.
Lock up, don't foul people.
Benjamin for 3, no. Rebound Watson. And Watson's fouled, 5.1 remaining.
And obviously here,
he was high. He was high.
I mean, that's game right there. You know, even if it was an empty trip to the line, you knew what has happened at this point. Even though there's 5.1 ticks left, obviously you knew what had happened. What's going through your mind at that point when you know it's done?
Oh, I felt so relieved. I mean, I've been at the pit 4 times in 4 years, and I've lost all 3 years previous. So to come out, with a blue trophy, it was unreal. And then to do it for Coach Jay, because Coach Jay's been through a lot, so it felt really good.
When does relief turn into excitement? Or did you feel that same kind of relief first, then excitement? Talk about
definitely. I don't know, once I seen the clock just ticking down, I was like, oh my God, we finally did it. Especially with the coaches, our coaching staff, it was just good to finally do it for them. It was finally good to do it for our school, be the first people to do it. So it just felt amazing, and it couldn't have been a better way to end off our senior year. So.
Now, you guys have a pretty special bond with Coach Jay, and I know I talked about it on the broadcast, but, he kind of has it tough there because when you guys win, it's because of the studs, right? Mm-hmm. But when they lose, Coach, right? So, I mean, you guys have a really special bond. So, go through that a little more, just how special it was and how relieved he must have felt.
Yeah.
And how happy was he in the locker room? Because I know he gets turned up a little bit, right? Yeah.
So he talked about it's a cold world. So when we win, it's us. When he loses, it's him. But we always have his back. We know that if a loss is on us solely, which most of them are, because he's not the one out there playing, we always have his back. We won't let anybody get to him. When it does get to him, we tell him stuff like, man, who cares? You good? We got you right here. We gonna go win this for you right now. So that's all that goes into it.
Anything, post game celebration wise? Coach did he get into any dancing or anything? Because I know Sean a little bit. I could see him doing some dorky stuff.
Like a bunch of screaming. That's all he was doing.
Yeah, just a bunch of screaming, jumping up and down.
All over people.
Yep, I think by the time he got to the post-game party that we both went to, he was missing a button. And, like, he was looking a little disheveled a little bit. So he was a happy camper. I know that. Let's take a look at your guys' post-game interview here, and we'll have the audio up on this, so we won't have to talk over this.
Cleveland is finally on top of the basketball world. A 55-49 win and a state championship for the Storm. We're back with Trey Watson and Nate Hasbury. Talk about what you're feeling right now.
Man, this is unreal. The amount of work we put in to get to this point, it's nothing. There's no feeling that compares to this. It's the best feeling ever.
Nate?
It's crazy way to end it, man. I love these group of guys, man. I couldn't have ended it any better, man. I love them.
What was different about this group?
We came together at the beginning of the year, and we said we're going to do what it takes to get it done, and that's what we did. We had to do what we had to do.
And talk about the season was in doubt to end it like this?
I mean, yeah, at the beginning of the season, man, we didn't know what was going to happen, but as we gradually kept going, man, we knew we was going to make it to this point, and we just had to stick together as a team and just fight our way through, and now look at us.
Talk about the athletic legacy you guys have left on that campus, bringing basketball's first blue trophy home.
That's something we always talked about. We said we want to be the team to change Cleveland history, and that's what we came out here and did. But all props to this guy right here, man. He put us in the position to do what we had to do.
You guys said that was the first time you guys have watched that back, and it brought some chills to you during the celebration. Talk about that.
Just watching over, it just brings back that time. It just feel like I'm back in that time. It's just that moment of just greatness and excitement and just happy. I was just happy.
And you could see kind of at the beginning of that celebration your relief. Yeah. And then you started getting turned up a little bit.
It's just one of those things, kind of like a monkey off your back. For 4 years, it's just been, it's always been like Cleveland, they can't do it. They can't do it. Like, are they good enough? Who's leading them? Blah, blah, blah. So, man, for that clock to hit 0 and we finally won, it was unreal.
Yeah, and we talked about the legacy word, right? I mean, what you guys have done is they'll always be the first championship, right? Talk about that.
It just feels amazing to just be the first. Just knowing that we're the first team, I feel like that's always gonna stick in our minds and just forever. It's always gonna be there. We're always gonna think of it, remember it, and then maybe one time when we like come back, like reunite as a team or whatever, we just reminisce about us winning that state championship.
You think Coach Jimenez is going to wear that suit when you guys do the reunion? Talk about his suit game for that championship. Like, he's pulled out some pretty cool stuff. But
yeah, he's he's always there before the game talking about, oh, Trey Watson, wait till you see what I have on today. And it's just it's one of those things you just laugh at. Keeps us looses us up. We look forward to it. It's cool.
Right. Let's go off script a little bit. What's the craziest thing that happened with this team this year? Like, just whether it be at practice, whether it be in San Diego. What are some things that we don't get to see? Or maybe even a moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is the group, man. We're gonna go all the way. Take us into some of that early team bond stuff.
I would say junior year, going into our junior year, me and Nate, we were in San Diego dunking on people. Our bounce that weekend was crazy. We were dunking on everybody, and I think we played one of the top-ranked teams out of San Diego, and we dubbed them. We beat them. So it was kind of, after that happened, we kind of got a little buzz around us in San Diego, and I was just like, we're about to be different when we go back to like New Mexico. Like, this is a different team right here, and it all came together at the end.
What about, like, there's got to be a crazy or embarrassing Trey Watson story, right? Because he's so damn perfect all the time. Like, every interview I've done with him is like, I don't know, how are you so media savvy? Like, how are you so good at this? There's got to be a good Trey Watson story, right?
Locker room. The locker room, before and after the game. You don't even want to know. You don't even know what Trey be doing. Just a goofy guy.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in. It was certainly fun to watch you guys these 4 years, and only the best for you guys moving forward. And thank you for watching Inside the 5A Championship.